Hello to everyone. Here Enrico Benzoni from the product marketing team at Sumo Logic, and with me there's Dario Forte, VP and General Manager Automation and Orchestration at Sumo Logic. Welcome, Dario.
It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Yeah, today we will speak about automation and orchestration, and I know Dario, you have a quite of experience on this field. We started talking about automation a long time ago, and there has been an explosion of the use of automation in many fields, including the cybersecurity. Nowadays, there are a lot of attacks, malware, DDoS, phishing, spoofing, DNS tunneling. So insider threats, so many different types of alerts that the analyst has to investigate and have to respond to. And the question here, Dario, for you, what is the future of orchestration and automation?
There is a growing number of attack, both inside and outside originated, and the way that those attacks and violation work is becoming very spread, and the origin and the interconnection between authors and targets are becoming absolutely difficult to manage from a single analyst or group of analysts. The workload is very heavy, and that has also impact on let's say also the quality of the job and the quality of the work condition of these colleagues. If we compare the discussion that we are having now with the discussions that we used to have a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, while there was a growing curve of workload, now this heavy workload is becoming a de facto situation, and people cannot escape from it. So I think that the most important role of automation and orchestration, of course, depends from the complexity of the environment, is supporting customers and analysts in general to handle repeating and overwhelming security activities. Those can be related to conventional monitoring. Those can be related to advanced triage and or enrichment of simple and eventually less simple scenarios and situations. But I think that the password here in this particular case, the passphrase in this particular case, is flexibility and capability to adapt the automation and orchestration to multiple use cases. So what is happening now is that, first of all, and this is, I will say that from a technology provider perspective, this is a very good news. This paradigm of working with automation and orchestration at various levels of the security workflow framework, so to speak, is becoming globally recognized. We all remember the period 4 to 5 years ago, while this market was an emerging market, really early stage market, and there was some reluctant approach from several customers. Now we can say that without any doubt, this orchestration and automation way to handle security incidents and alerts since of the beginning of it is absolutely a standard. And it is a standard in a way that can actually generate a series of broader approach, which are, and we will discuss, I think, during this conversation today, which are not only related to cyber, but also related to use cases that are actually not probably just cyber. The important thing is that the maturity of the technology that is being provided to customers, partners, and MSSP reached a level that is actually making these colleagues comfortable in handling and automating stuff. And this is definitely representing the beginning of the second phase. So post-maturity level expansion and, of course, further innovation.
This is very interesting. Having a tool that is capable to integrate whatever solution that has APIs that really helps. And under the supervision of the cybersecurity team can be very interesting. The use of automation outside the cybersecurity. Before going into details about the concept of use cases outside security, let's return to cyber for a while. In the initial part of the responding to an incident, it is critical follow standard operating procedures. That is very important for maintaining the company calm and focus on reasoning about the decisions to be made. How does the SOAR help to have structured processes, and what type of processes are typically created?
Uh, there is an interesting intersection between the way that analysts and SOC manager are handling security incidents and alert, and the way that compliance is asking them to execute. So basically, the compliance is asking the subjects to operate according to well-defined processes and well-defined standard operating procedures that you just mentioned. So the only way to be consistent is definitely using automation, and usually the automation and orchestration interact with those players in two ways. The first one is definitely the use of playbooks, and the second one is working with these playbooks in a way that they can automate machine-to-machine tasks, or put it in practice machine to human and human to machine, eventually pieces of the process that are actually put it in place. How that works? The playbooks are actually a set of workflows that can be created and eventually executed at the fully automated or semi-automated. And they can have not only actions that are executed by machine, where humans can be in the loop and can generate and or authorize tasks, but at the same time, there are also playbooks that allow sequential actions that analysts are required to take, sometimes manually, in a way that those actions are executed and traced and tracked into reports that then may have some compliance value. And a consistent or automation and orchestration tool or platform should be able to provide both approach. And the way that is actually helping customers to map the SOP, the standard operating procedures, into actual automated and orchestrated tasks is becoming more and more sophisticated. There is an initial period of assessment and approach, and of course, a translation from this assessment approach and the actual playbooks that are designed. In our case, there is a big library, almost 500 probably more between actions and playbooks that can be combined and taken as a template. And then they are mapped into the actual security process of the customer, and then the execution takes place, which can be fully automated or semi-automated depending from the tasks.
Which are the critical aspects when you implement automation in the organization?
There are actually three typical aspects that are very important, in my opinion. First of all, you need to establish a rapport and, allow me to say, professional chemistry with the customer. Because the customers are not going to share with you important aspects of their environment and also their pain points if they don't trust you, and that means that you need to build the trust relationship with them. And this is usually provided in a moment where actually you have the initial contacts with the assessment and initial contacts with the customers. That's why automation is something that scales also from a business standpoint as much as the professionalism of the supplier is shown. And for us, this is a very important point of distinction. The second point is the ability to understand exactly what you want to automate first. So have the global picture, but start little and then scale. And the scalability is provided by a combination of knowledge of the customer environment and the technology that is provided to the customer itself, and at the same time a plan that the customer and the provider are actually agreed upon. And the third is definitely the openness of the architecture. If the customer is not getting a technology provider that is providing a open architecture able to integrate basically any type of third parties that can be integrated, then the process and the project is not going to succeed. And those are actually the 3 points that Sumo is focusing on. Where from a technology standpoint, the last that I mentioned, the capability of integrate is based upon a framework that we call OIF, the Open Integration Framework, that is basically able to integrate very quickly virtually any type of third parties that then can convert into a playbook that again can be security or also non-security.
We can say that if a process works manually, it can work with automation. So that when you start an automation project, you have to start with the type of alert that you would like to manage, the process to manage that type of alert, and then with the open integration framework, as you said, we can integrate whatever you want. So that is not the critical part. The critical part sometimes is having the defined process, so having a clear idea, and our team give this helps to the customer. Another questions, where the automation plays a particular significant role in easing the job for analysts?
At the moment, the enrichment and the triage still have the predominant role.
And how does the automation impact on the ROI about that?
Well, a lot. And by the way, this is the most tangible first step when you have a project like this. So basically, the customer and the people that are contacting us as a subject matter expert or geek or gurus or whatever you want to call it, at the end of the day, they are people like ourselves that had this experience continuously in first person and with the customer. They ask us to support them in showing the management who actually has the money in the pocket to authorize the expense, and then the business case is necessary. So you have to show the ROI, and in some cases also the cost of non-investment, which is another parameter that usually CISOs have when they authorize or ask for budget. And in our case, we reached the times where we reached, more than 90%, some cases 94% mix of it between efficiency and return on investment. We have a calculator that we usually utilize with the customer in order to support in building the business case. And I will say that the number of cases and customers that we handled in the past years so far is actually populating this calculator very well. And but the answer is yes. So you start from something that is tangible. Enrichment and triage are actually the most time-consuming tasks, and then tasks that cost more. Efficiency of automation and orchestration can be shown in that case at the beginning, and ROI is very high if well implemented, and of course can be shown with tools like the calculator that I just mentioned.
Yeah. And the other part is the decision making, containment, and the part of reporting.
Which is growing.
That is the other
Which is
interesting.
growing because if you compare the discussions that we used to have 3 years ago, where customers were mostly interested in the preliminary phase of the framework, the investigative, the analysis, and so forth. Now they are openly asking us to see how we can remediate and how we can open the pipe to the remediation flow, which is a good sign, because that means that customers are trusting automation also from a reaction perspective. At the same time, they ask us to do it gradually because they cannot and they don't want, and we will not advise at this stage to open the entire flow to automated response. but the maturity of the technology and the maturity of the understanding of this potential is definitely grown, has definitely grown. And I think that the next 24 months will give a strong emphasis on the response as well. And again, not only in cyber, but also outside.
So considering that you can integrate any technology that has APIs and you can handle use cases that are not cybersecurity, the role of the security manager grows even more in the company. Is that right?
Yeah. And again, at Sumo, we have one precise vision. We think that the single automation and orchestration technology, which used to be security orchestration and automated response, so SOAR, will evolve quickly into a broader range that we call orchestration and automation and automated response. So without the S, which means for us using the same engine for multiple chassis without changing the core technology, but having the same investment scaling from the cloud natively integrated with the other pieces of the ecosystem of the Sumo technology stack and serving a much, much broader set of use cases. We are now testing and accelerating on delivering on IT ops and observability and IT alert kind of use cases, and we are getting great results with customers that are absolutely enthusiasts on this particular aperture. And the interesting thing is that there is a convergence of mindsets between security people and non-security people. And our vision is that this kind of automation orchestration will be also able to serve also the app development teams, DevOps, because all these people have one thing in common: they need to accelerate on tasks that can be automated. And for us, the way that we created this technology, it can scale with this capability to integrate, as you said rightly, virtually any type of third party, because we have this engine that is able to integrate with whatever can be integrated, and playbooks that can be created with whatever kind of integration is available.
Basically, you will have a super user that will be on the cybersecurity team, and then you will create users with different level of grants for all the others that can use.
Yeah, it depends from the organization. It can be the security people that have this that are in charge of it, but also we can create because we have, we have a very strong role management at Sumo, in terms of access control, role management of the people that get access to this kind of technology. So it depends from the company structure, the company organization. We are fully open. We can have a single group that has the full control, and then subgroups, as you say, the sub-users, as you say, or we can have paritatic groups that are depending from different functions. This is the right approach from our side, and this is the cool stuff at Sumo. So the way that it's designed is giving the possibility to have a pyramidal kind of approach, or multi-player, multi-pyramidal kind of approach, depending from the company org. It's very open and very strong at the same time.
Thank you so much, Dario. Have you any other to share with us today?
We are making a series of strong commitment, not only on this, but also on the relationship between automation and orchestration and the usage of ML/AI within the Sumo platform. I invite you to monitor the Sumo blog in the next few days and weeks, because we are starting to elaborate a series of blog posts that will explain our vision on this. And again, our mission is securing the digital transformation. We know that there is a continuous evolution, and we know that automation and orchestration has an important role for guaranteeing scalability and protection at multiple levels.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone. Please reach out if you have any questions, and have a great day.